follow the money.
That's what I always say. You always follow the money.
Yeah.
This is Follow the Money with Mitch Moss and Pauly Howard on VSiN.
Welcome in. We're live, downtown Las Vegas, Circa Resort and Casino, coming up this hour and 15 minutes. A vicious beat that still makes me sick. And some really strong numbers that jump off the page tonight. I think there's a really good angle in an NBA game I'll tell you about. Bruce Marshall, bottom of the hour, his best bets in college basketball. And here, we will get best bets in soccer this weekend as the meat man Steve Wyss joins the program now with the Because We Win podcast and also the Nordic Football Pod. And he is on the Progressive Guest line. Steve, good to talk to you as always. How you been?
Hey, guys. I'm really good, thanks. Hope you've been having a great show and keeping well.
Now, this is kind of a deep cut, if you will, but we got a terrific email from Eric saying, hey, there might be a really good revenge spot this weekend involving the Wolves and Everton. I sent you the email. What did you make of what Eric had to say?
Yeah, I think this is a really interesting game to discuss. And I've got a bet in the game, and it's under 2.25 goals, and I'll come to that soon. But there was a period, I think, about 3 years ago, where the current Wolves manager, Vitor Pereira, was strongly linked with Everton. They were set to appoint him, but the fans didn't want him as the manager. And it wasn't because of him, it was because of his agent at the time. I think it's an Asian guy who I'm actually not even going to try and pronounce the name because I'll probably get it wrong. I don't want to disrespect the name, but Everton fans had a massive problem with the agent. So that's why they didn't want the manager. They also didn't like his lack of experience, taking charge of a Premier League club, worried the fans a bit. So I don't know whether Vitor Pereira is going to be holding a grudge here. I would have to ask him personally. It might be a little bit of a driving factor, but I think the biggest motivation for Wolves and for the manager is they need the points to escape this relegation battle. They're currently 5 points clear, that they're fighting for their lives. I think probably that is the bigger motivation angle.
Not bad.
Okay.
Hell of an email, too. Why the under, by the way?
Well, the email also mentioned the suspension of Wolves' key man, Matheus Cunha. This guy's a Rolls Royce of a player, guys. He could definitely start in any of the top four teams, I do believe. He scored 13 goals and he's had 4 assists in the Premier League. In terms of raw metric numbers, he's had 11.31 expected goals involvement. That is from Opta, and that works out basically, I worked it out, he's worth half a goal a game to Wolves. So when you're basically working out the goal lines, the Asian handicap lines, he's worth half a goal. They haven't got anyone who can replace him. So overall, the net goal line has to come down for me by at least a half. Everton are also missing 2 attackers, NDI and Dominic Calvert-Lewin. Between them, they've had over 11 expected goals involvements this season. So, yeah, and also Everton are the lowest scoring team away from home in their matches, 2.1 goals per game. We've got to take under 2.25 goals. I think David Moyes will set them up to be hard to break down. So that is why I don't think there's going to be many goals in this game.
Very good. Fantastic. Let's stay Saturday. How about Fulham?
What a strange side they are. I mean, a lot of people can't work them out. They cashed for me last week, took them in the FA Cup to qualify against Man United.
Yep.
They often love being the underdog. And this is an example of it. They're a little bit disrespected, I think, here. I think they're worth taking draw no bet at plus 175. You could take them draw double chance around the evens mark. But they've got the 6th best away record. Only lost 3 times away from home. Really well suited to counter-attacking play. And Brighton basically are not a great favourite. They're another team. They prefer being the underdog. They're not so good when they have to force the pace, when everyone expects them to do well. Heard a lot of good things said about Brighton recently. Some saying they can win the FA Cup. Some saying they can finish in the top 5. I don't doubt they're a decent team, but this is usually when Brighton start letting you down. So I think Fulham here, go against the grain and back them draw no bet at a big price, plus 175.
All right, and your club, Brentford. Brentford takes on Aston Villa. Villa off the big win in the Champions League. What do you think? Is there an early goal again with Brentford? You've had that angle that they always score early.
I very nearly put the over 1.25 first half goals bet up again, Pauly. I think this match will have goals and first half goals. I think Brentford win. I'm going to take them on the Asian handicap, minus 0.25 at evens. You mentioned the Aston Villa win there in the Champions League. Well done to them. But there's a key stat here. They have won just one match out of 8 after the Champions League matches this season. They cannot cope with the turnaround, and they're also going to be focusing on the second leg against Club Brugge in just 3 or 4 days' time. So I think they're well worth opposing here, Aston Villa. In fact, they've actually failed to score 4 times in those 8 games after the Champions League. They've put in some really flat performances. So it's quite a lot of this bet is a big fade of Villa. Brentford, though, have won half of their home games. We know they've got goals in them. They've also had quite a decent break in terms of rest since their previous match. So they're nicely refreshed and re-energized. They've got goal-scoring threat in Wissa, Mbuemo, Kevin Schade. So I think it's a good spot to oppose Aston Villa. A minus 0.25 Asian handicap here on Brentford.
Follow the Money, Pauly and Mitch Vyss in the Sports Betting Network. Steve Wyss, our guest at Meatman Soccer on X. He's on the Progressive Guest Line. Check out his podcast, Because We Win, and the Nordic Soccer podcast as well. We're on to Sunday now, and you're fading. You always do this. You've been cashing tickets, though. Going against Man U again. They take on Arsenal. They were incredible the other day, winning 7-1.
Yeah, that was a result and a performance which not a lot of people saw coming. And I think with the thing with Arsenal, when they start to play like that, you've got to get on their train quickly. And, the whole team is going to be confident after that. Everyone in the media, in the punditry world, has been kind of criticizing them for not having enough goals in them. They've got injuries to Saka, Havertz, and also Gabriel Jesus. But I think they proved a point there in midweek. Yes, they played a really poor defence in PSV Eindhoven, the Dutch team. But I don't think Manchester United are much better. They've been so bad this season. They've lost 7 times out of 14 at home. I mean, that's reason enough to oppose them, isn't it? So, Arsenal, at the minute, I think they are the second best team in the Premier League. Liverpool have been the best team this season. Just take Arsenal straight on the money line here, minus 137. We don't need to complicate it. Playing away from home against Manchester United is nothing like how hard it used to be. Mm-hmm. It's actually quite easy now.
Yeah.
And also, Man United have just played tonight in Spain. Tough match, a 1-1 draw against Real Sociedad. Really, that competition, the Europa League, is their main priority now. So there's a lot of factors pointing towards the Arsenal win. Also, set pieces. Arsenal, massive edge there. Man United can't defend them. Struggling to see beyond an away win at Old Trafford. So money line at minus 137, obvious bet.
And one more, Bournemouth against Tottenham. You want to fade Tottenham again?
Yeah, and a lot of maybe casual observers would look at this match and think that the odds look wrong here in that, how can Bournemouth be a very slight favourite to beat Tottenham away from home? But again, another really poor home team. They've got the 7th worst home record, Tottenham Hotspur. That's astounding for a team that was expected to challenge for the Champions League positions. It's actually a bit of a disgrace when you think about it. Bournemouth 5th best away record. Very, very strong away from home, only 4 defeats. Their form has dipped a little bit recently, but they're into the FA Cup quarter-final, so they've got a nice feel-good factor about that. Tottenham, another team who have played this evening in the Europa League. They actually lost in the Netherlands against a team called AZ. Didn't really play well, but that competition has got to be their priority now. It's their way to qualify for Europe again, to win a trophy. And Bournemouth, I actually remember the reverse fixture. Bournemouth got the result, but they should have won by even more goals. It's not a great matchup for Tottenham. Bournemouth are well coached, highly energised, highly motivated, will actually enjoy being away from home. And again, it's another overrated home venue where the home advantage is just not there this season, similar to Manchester United. Spurs are very opposable. We'll take draw no bet just to be on the safe side, minus 112. But I wouldn't want to put off anyone taking Bournemouth on the money line either here.
Great job, great appearance. Thanks for putting the work in with the Wolves angle and the email, and we'll catch up with you soon, friend.
Yeah, thanks for that email. If anyone ever wants to get in touch, then feel free. And enjoy the rest of your show, guys. Take care.
All right, you got it. The meat man, Steve Wyss. Wolves, Everton under, Fulham, Brentford, Bournemouth draw no bet, Arsenal as well. He's right, Man U'd. Been putrid, fan base furious, no home field advantage. Those last 2 matches are on Sunday.
You can always reach out to him at Meatman Soccer on X. That's his handle there. Where are you at with the points deduction coming, Pauly?
Still waiting here. It's unbelievable. March 6th. Oh, boy, what a mess. What a mess. I read the latest article. It could be 60 points again.
Okay.
But there's also an article that they are fearing relegation because it's going to be so severe. And then there's also an article tied into it with the league accept them, EFL, which there's nothing in the rule book or in the rules that says they can't do that. They have to accept them. But imagine if they're relegated, what it means for your tickets, but also how they would dominate the lower league and the championship league.
Sure.
I mean,
okay. So what about the people who reach out to us every week when we talk about this with the Meat Man, and they say, "Guys, am I still too late to the party?
Right?
Can I hop in right now on Man U, bottom 10, relegated, any of it?"
Yeah, I just saw Pete Hamill's email and other people tweeting. It's relegation. I'm with Nigel. Relegation, not a good bet because it'd have to be really a kick to the breadbasket. It'd have to be like 60 points because even if it's 30 or 40, there's still a lot of time left, and the other teams at the bottom of the table are dreadful. So outside top 10, though, I mean, it's a mess. It's a complete mess how it's been handled. Yeah. It was supposed to be February.
I mean, in theory, them to finish bottom 10 makes a lot of sense on the bet, but you can't trust what's going to happen with...
Well, then what if it's a severe penalty and they appeal?
Yeah.
And how long it goes. So this wasn't supposed to happen. Want to know where the money's really going? Only VSiN gives you exclusive betting splits from Circa and DK. Unlike other sources, our data comes directly from the books, showing where sharp action lands. Circa takes the big bets from the pros. DraftKings offers a broader market view, giving you insights into wagers that move lines and not just the public money. Exclusive betting splits for free through Selection Sunday. VSiN.com/championship week. VSiN.com/championship week. Illinois State up 17.
Yeah, 7 minutes to play in the Missouri Valley. Up next, I think there is a really good angle tonight in the NBA. I'll tell you why here on VSiN.
This is Follow the Money on VSiN.
I'll give you a good angle tonight in the NBA coming up here in a few moments. I still can't get over what happened last night in Boston. Celtics and the Trailblazers.
Yep.
That number was all over the board. I think it opened up 10.5 the night before. And if you got 10.5 early, you were a winner. I did not. I got +8 and +9.5 on Portland. They're nip and tuck with them like the entire first quarter. Then the Celtics closed. They went up like 5 at the end of the first. And they had a really good third quarter, and Portland had to battle back. They got it to 8. They missed a shot, down 8 with 23 seconds left. They fouled a couple of different times, and then Pritchard goes to the free throw line, hits 2 free throws. Here's the deal. They won by 10. Derek White had 41 points. Peyton Pritchard had 43. First pair of Celtics teammates to each score 40-plus points in a game ever in the franchise's history. They combined for 84 points, 13 rebounds, 7 assists. They shot 28 of 46, and they were 19 of 33 from downtown. And at OptaStats on X, one player all time, over the course of his entire career, same game or not, has had a 40-point game with 10-plus threes, a 40-point game with no overtime, a 40-point game on 70% shooting, a 40-point bench game, a 40-point, 10-rebound, 5-assist game. That's Peyton Pritchard. Did everything I just said last night. That's and nobody had ever had those games combined or whatever separately over the course of their entire career. He did it in one game. So if you laddered Pritchard like up to, I don't even know how high books would have gone, probably 25 points, maybe a 30-point was out there. And if you laddered him up to, I'm going to guess like 8, you could have maybe actually found 10 threes on him. You're taking today off. Mm-hmm. I can't even imagine how much money you would have won betting on him last night. But that path was there because everybody was basically sitting for the Celtics like they are tonight.
Yeah, And what do you do tonight with both teams? Horford, out. Hauser, questionable. Holiday, out. Porzingis, out. Brown, out. Tatum, questionable. George, out. Maxey, out. Embiid, out. National TV game.
Yeah,
what?
Thank you very much.
Yep.
Also, it's another reason why I think the Celtics are going to still come out of the East. The Cavaliers, great story. Phenomenal team. Hell of a coaching job. I don't think they're going to beat Boston. All those guys are...
Home court will help, though.
I don't know. I don't think so. I think Boston plays... Right. They're better off when they're away from home. Look at the firepower when they have 3 of their stars out of the game.
I know, but it's...
And by the way, the Blazers had one of the best defenses in basketball going back like the last 20 games.
I got a top 10 defense, though, and there's going to be games where the shots aren't falling, and that's not going to happen from three.
I know.
But I think it'll be a great Eastern Conference Finals, and I think that will be the Eastern Conference Finals. But as far as tonight, look at this, 14 points, even though all these guys are out. And then what do you do from the Philly standpoint? Like, who goes off? And again, there's more heat coming down. Actually, it's turned to apathy now. What's going on in Dallas, but why'd you get rid of Grimes, who could have helped out Kyrie, and then you got Martin's like in the D-League, getting work in, which how bad does that trade look? And then Grimes comes out and goes for 45, and does he go off now? Because someone's got to score with all these guys hurt for Philadelphia.
Okay, so let me tell you how crazy this is. Modern-day NBA trying to get bets in on this. Earlier this morning, the game was completely yanked off the board at every sportsbook. And that was when the news came out that most players were going to be sitting for Boston. And the props were only available for the 76ers side. Grimes, the thought was Paul George might go. He was on the board. Maxey wasn't. But then, once we found out, and again, you gave books like a good 20 minutes or 30 minutes to think about it. They reposted stuff. And then all the news came out with the 76ers. And then every player was taken off the board from Philly. So both teams that happened to today, Grimes would be the one guy you'd have to look at because he's been on such a tear. But because of how many players are going to be out, it's also going to be super balloon tonight. Like last night, I think the Pritchard points prop was 14.5. Tonight, what are they? 17.5, 18, 19.5, 20.5?
Yeah. Well, out-of-body experience, though, too. I mean, is it... He's probably smelling himself. He's going to chuck it as soon as he gets the ball, though, too.
His three-point prop is, I think, 4.5 tonight.
Okay, yeah. All right. Maybe strange things can happen. I mean, remember the Linsanity run? I mean, some stuff, you get stuff like this that happens in sports. A hot goal you never heard of for 2 months. Linsanity. I mean, Pritchard could continue to go off. Stuff like that. But the recipe's right there that, guys are out and someone has to score. And what happens. So, great game tonight. Interesting with that angle with so many people out. If someone can eat. Are we picking up the same thing here, doing the same thing with the Pacers? Playing the Hawks. 14 of the last 16 head-to-head have gone over.
Oh, I got some great numbers on the game. This is the game I'm talking about here. So Halliburton's still questionable. They played in February. Pacers were 9.5. Total was 243. They won 132 to 127. Last year, Atlanta was 3.5 at home. The total was 251.5. Final score in regulation, 157-152. Mm-hmm. They played a game in January last year. The total was 261.5. It was 150 to 116. That wasn't high enough. They had a game of 250.5. That one stayed under. The final game of the year, the total was 242.5. The Pacers won 157 to 115. Here's what I'm doing in the game tonight. The Hawks allow 61.4 points per game in the first half in the regular season. That is the worst in the entire league. Recent games in the first half, team totals. Bucks 66. Grizzlies 65, Thunder 71, Heat 65. The game before that, they only had 42. That was a lower scoring game. The Pistons had 76 in the first half. The Magic even had 59. And if you go back to the Knicks game, they had 68. In games versus Indy, the one I mentioned earlier this year, the Pacers had 68. Last year, Pacers first half team totals against the Hawks, 73, 78, 68, and 86. I played over 61.5 Pacers team total for the first half. That was the biggest bet. And then I laddered it all the way up to over 66.5 on smaller bets there. So give me 70 points tonight. I'll be dancing.
Best Bets brought to you by G-Bank, official bank of Visa. They're up in the ante with a $750 bonus for new G-Bank Visa Signature Card customers. New customers who spend $1,000 on eligible purchases within 90 days from account opening get a $250 bonus. And if you spend $50,000 on gaming and sports app loads within the 30 days of account opening, you get another $500 bonus. Potentially a $750 bonus. Apply now. VSiN.com/GBank. Subject to credit approval. Terms and conditions apply. There you go. The other national TV game, doubleheader, big one. Lakers at home to the Knicks. Looks like Reeves is going to give it a go now. He'll be back. Luka's been great. LeBron's been awesome. And Cat could be good to go. This is big because the Lakers have this number one defense going back, but it is Let's pack it in down low in the paint and see if these guys can force guys to shoot from the outside. A couple games, Harden was atrocious. Dallas couldn't make anything. So, yes, it's worked, but a little bit of luck's involved. Well, now if it's going to be Brunson, Cat, and Bridges, if you give them wide open looks, they're going to punish you, and they're going to knock them down. So this will be a good test. You said it earlier. Others have said it. Are you buying in? Are they right there with the Thunder? What it's going to be like? You got this game tonight, and they're only a 3.5-point favorite at home, as hot as they've been. 17 of the last 19 they've won. If you I throw out that Charlotte game because Reeves got kicked out. Then they go to Boston. Then they go to Milwaukee. Then they play Denver again. So this is the test about you're playing great. You have Luka. You got two superstars. LeBron's been awesome. Is this defense for real? Check back in a week and a half because here comes some top teams.
Why is there money on the Knicks?
I don't get it. They got guy injury concerns too, and they haven't played well.
Robinson and Anunoby questionable. Cat's going to be playing tonight in this game. He is available. But I think Reeves is going to give it a go.
He's supposed to be back, and you see the run that Luka's on? You can't defend this. And it's also why it was so important to get a big guy just because of the lob element too and how Hayes is eating. Because it's like a hand in the face, not good enough. He's going up and he's going to shoot from long distance. He's dancing in front of the fans. He hit 3 in a row. And then when he penetrates, you're still on him, but he's going to draw contact or he's going to dish it out to a guy who's wide open for 3. Right. It was beautiful to watch the last couple games.
Somebody is going to eat tonight for the Knicks.
That's right.
Does it come in the backcourt? Is it going to be Brunson or is it going to be Towns down low?
How about Bridges?
Maybe.
But they pack it in, though.
Are they gonna is that the game plan tonight for Towns? But Towns can also
Towns from
he can dance outside though too.
Yes, I could see that. It's also good from an in-play standpoint, but what it's going to look like. But I would think it's Towns threes or Bridges threes too, if not both, because they dare you to shoot. Just like they did against Denver. That's the game plan. Right. Joker's not beating us down low. Cat's not going to beat us down low. You have to do something from the outside. But these guys can shoot, unlike Denver, who's worst in the league at 3-point makes and on and on and on.
Yeah. What's the pace going to be tonight?
Yeah, good question. I don't know if it's going to be that frenetic.
I don't think it's going to be like a ping pong match. No. So I think both teams are going to have to be like super efficient on offense to go over 231, which can happen. Yeah. Because they both have the numbers to tell you that that exists there.
But again, this is just a weird spot, and I've been over it the last week. But look at the schedule that the league gave the Knicks: road trip, come home for 1, back on the road, come home for 1, back on the road. This is the West Coast roadie now.
Yep, Bruce Marshall on the program coming up next. Longtime college basketball bettor. We'll get his best bets on the card tonight coming up.
This is Follow the Money on VSiN.
Welcome back. We're live downtown Las Vegas, Circa Resort and Casino. Mitch Moss, Pauly Howard here on a Thursday. Time now for some best bets in college basketball as longtime college hoops bettor and handicapper Bruce Marshall joins the program with CBS Sports, sportsline.com. Bruce, good to talk to you. As always, how are you today?
Hey, I'm pretty good, Mitch. Ready for some more hoops tonight.
Absolutely. Let's begin. Big Ten, Michigan State playing on the road against Iowa. Same story with the Hawkeyes, I think, as we get every single year. But this year, they're a much worse version of it where the defense is just pretty much pathetic. And the total here now is on the uptick as well, Bruce, from 151.5 to sitting at 155 as we speak. Sparty around 6.5 or now even 7 in this game on the road. What is your betting angle here for this matchup?
Yeah, Mitch, I can understand why the number's moving up. We've talked about Iowa. They are as soft as tissue paper. Now, one thing, though, I'll be careful about this total because Fran McCaffrey, who should be on the hot seat there, I think. I'm not sure if he is, but he should be. But he recognizes as much, too. And they've been dialing it back a little bit the last couple of games because he knows his team can't play defense. They can't play in transition because they can't stop anybody. So they have played a little bit slower pace. Has not helped, though. Illinois, Northwestern, both double-digit wins. They're only scoring 59 per game the last 2. So that's not working for Iowa either. And they're about to miss the Big Ten tournament. That is a big no-no. For in an 18-team league to be one of the bottom 3. Watch Jace Richardson, this freshman for Michigan State. I mean, he has really given them an extra spark, and I'd lay it with Izzo, and I'd be careful on the total, though. I'm not going to commit anyway on the total, but Iowa's playing a little slower the last few, so I'd watch on that one.
Illinois State just won and covered against Missouri State. It stayed under. Up next, Arch Madness, Evansville and Murray State. Any opinion on this game? Murray State about 5.5.
I love Evansville here. I've been going with Evansville a lot lately. You know, they started off the season really slow. They had some bad games. I mean, they scored like 30 points the game. They lost by 50 at Ohio State early. But once they started playing in the Valley, they weren't all that bad. Pozzato, the freshman from Italy, kind of flashy. Now, he was out. He missed about a month. And once he came back in, Evansville, and not all that bad. I mean, they've been winning some games. They've been covering a lot of numbers lately. And they did beat Murray State during the regular season at home. Tayshaun Comer, the other guard. Now, he and Pozzato out there in the wing. That's a pretty good combo they have out there. And like I said, they've been covering games, I think, 5 in a row. Some close losses in there. They can win this game. So this is a dog for me in Arch Madness tonight. Evansville, I'll take the Purple Aces.
They can win it outright. Man, you love to hear that. Bruce Marshall, our guest here, and he is on the Progressive Guest Line. I'll throw this one at you. I think this is an intriguing game out of the A-Sun. Queens now a big dog after they upset Florida Gulf Coast in the first round of this tournament. They get Lipscomb, the number 1 overall seed, but I'll give you this. It is official here. The first bid could be handed out tonight. If North Alabama wins and Queens beats number 1 Lipscomb, North Alabama clinches the A-Sun's bid. A league spokesman confirmed that today to ESPN.
Queens still has to.
That will happen, yeah.
Queens doesn't transit. Oh,
that's correct. So, having said that, Bruce, 10 points here is the number. Total is 147.5. What do you have?
Yeah, I normally like Queens, and I like the whole story there, and the Royals and Charlotte and all that. They've been kind of fun, and it was a nice upset the other night. I think this is where it hops off. Lipscomb is the team to beat in this tournament. And by the way, Nashville is a great college hoop city. You got Lipscomb, you got Belmont, you got Vandy, you got Tennessee State. Hey, we could move there and we could have a lot of fun. I might move there, actually.
You might move there, right?
Yeah, but no, Lipscomb is really, now they're playing this at home. And I think Lipscomb's going to end up winning. They have been really hot. They won 9 out of 10. How about this? Jacob Ognjenovic. 6'8" forward, but he can do everything. He's scoring better than 20 per game, almost 60% from the floor, better than 40% beyond the arc. Nobody can stop this guy in the league. They won at Charlotte last month, scored 94. They are destroying teams lately here. I think this is where Queens hops off the carousel tonight. Lipscomb's going to end up winning this tournament, and they're going to be a team that you might want. There'll be a 12 or 13 probably in the dance. I'd watch these guys. They could be kind of dangerous.
All right, we're covering all the conference tournaments here. How about the Patriot League with the quarterfinals tonight in Bucknell?
Yeah, another team here I think is one to beat in the Patriot. Bucknell has played really, really well lately. They're on a nice uptick. They did just beat Loyola last week in Baltimore. It's kind of a close game, but it was in Baltimore. They're playing this one in Pennsylvania, and Bucknell is right around where they near Williamsport there, right where it's Lewisburg, but it's very close to where the Little League World Series is. So that's where they're playing this one tonight. But Bucknell has a real force in this league. When you get a 7-footer in the Patriot League who can play, I mean, that's bad news for the rest of the league. Noah Williamson, he scored 20 plus in 10 of the 18 Patriot games this season. They beat the Loyola pretty handily in the first meeting. And Loyola Maryland's one of these very unremarkable this year, 6-12 in the Patriot. A team like that wins one game in the conference tournament like they did in the play-in round against Lehigh. That's usually good enough for them. Bucknell wins. They're on a collision course with American U in this tournament. Right now, they're hotter than American U. I think this is the team that's going to get out of the Patriot, and I like them laying the points tonight.
Very good. Excellent breakdown. Horizon League quarters. Bottom teams at home court here, no neutral yet. Cleveland State against Northern Kentucky. Cleveland State, a small favorite.
Yeah, Pauly, winners here get to Indianapolis next week, and so that'll be for the semis and the final next week. But I think this is a very, very wide-open tournament. Now, I wouldn't have said that about a month ago when Cleveland State was on a 12-game win streak, but they have faded here down the stretch. They've lost 4, 6, 5 of 8. The slide sort of started when they lost a game at Northern Kentucky last month. The defense has really sagged lately for Cleveland State, and Northern Kentucky is hot, baby. That's 5 straight wins for the Norse coming into this tournament. They're scoring a lot of points, 99 in poor Detroit the other night. So they're spreading the wealth pretty good, and lots of different. Trey Robinson, very good go-to guy in the backcourt. So everything comes from the perimeter for these guys. But this is a league where you could see an upset, and Cleveland State going the wrong way. I will take Northern Kentucky. This is one I think could be an outright winner too.
Excellent.
Okay.
All right. Follow the money. Pauly and Mitch Vysen, the Sports Betting Network. Bruce Marshall, he's on tomorrow as well. He's on the Progressive Guest Line, CBS Sports Line, talking college hoops. 2 from the Big West. UC San Diego's on a mission. Top 5 in the nation in point differential. They're great shooting threes. They've been blowing people out. They're playing Strong Beach. They're laying 22.5.
Yeah, Short Beach, actually. I mean, and that's my alma mater, believe it or not, so I'm not too pleased with what's going on with the beach. But UCSD, I watched them a couple of weeks ago up at San Luis Obispo. This is a fascinating team to watch. It's basically interchangeable. It's five guys that play all the positions. I joked off air there. This is like if Johan Cruyff was coaching a basketball team, this is what they'd look like. Everybody can shoot threes. They lead the nation in turnover margin in points off of turnovers. They're one of the lowest, top turnover margin teams. You guys mentioned that about their scoring margin. Hit threes, and they're killing people. And I think, they're in a point they could almost, if they get to the Big West final and they lose, they would still have a shot on an at-large. You usually don't see that from a Big West, but they've been killing teams. And the beat. Yeah, and the Beach is already out of the Big West tournament. It's been a miserable year for Long Beach. They have covered a couple numbers, but they were killed by these guys at home last month. I'm just going to keep riding UCSD. This is about 11-game win streak, and I think they've covered every one of those if you got the right number against Northridge last week. So go with these guys. Got a lot of big wins.
Great point. Yeah. You're right. Number 1 team, ATS as well. Mitch had that yesterday. One more. Cal State Fullerton's terrible. Taking on Cal Pauly. Cal Pauly laying 14.5.
What we got at this stage of the season, boys, are these teams like Fullerton, and we had one with Green Bay the other night. Green Bay actually covered a couple numbers lately, but when you get these really bad teams at the end of the season, we're running out of chances to use these teams going against them. So we've got to do it. We've got to go against them. And Fullerton, the numbers Fullerton has are so abysmal. I mean, they haven't scored more than 56 their last 4 games. They are right near the bottom nationally in scoring per game, just barely over 60. They are the worst 3-point shooting team in the country, 26.9. So Cal Poly's not bad, and they win these next 2 games. They're in the Big West tournament. They get Long Beach on Saturday. So, Fullerton hasn't been closer, than what 15 in the last 10 games here. Cal Poly, I'll lay it tonight up in beautiful San Luis Obispo.
Love the analysis every single time that you're on, Bruce. Thanks so much. Good luck tonight. We'll talk to you tomorrow, okay?
Okay, boys. Thank you.
Yep, back at you. There you go. Bruce Marshall, longtime college basketball bettor on the Progressive Guest Line.
Well done.
I guess the one good thing that Fullerton has going for them is that right outside of campus, there's that Portillo's.
Okay.
That we drove right by their campus when we flew in there to have it last year.
Yeah. Oh, that's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
I love it. Let's go to Tennessee. Have some fun. Nashville.
Yes.
Good.
Yeah.
Yeah, good. Excellent. He's on tomorrow. Can't wait because this really heats up too tomorrow.
Yeah, we got free pro access all the way through March 16th. Go there. Check it out. vsin.com/champweek. Daily best bet on the email. Access to exclusive betting splits. 24/7 video access as well. It's all there. vsin.com/champweek.
This is Follow the Money on VSiN.
Welcome back. It is Follow the Money here on VSiN, the Sports Betting Network. Mitch Moss, Pauly Howard, live downtown Vegas, Circa Resort Casino. Coming up top of the hour, more best bets in college basketball on the card tonight from managing editor of the website here at VSiN, Adam Burke. He'll join the program. He actually thrives. He loves the lower conferences, and I'm actually surprised because it doesn't happen very often, but I'm surprised throughout the course of the college basketball season when there's like a Power 5 game involved with his articles at the website.
Yeah. Makes a good case for a lot of his teams. If you read the article today up on the website, good breakdown of why he likes a couple games.
We've barely even touched on this, what happened last night. Florida was awesome yet again.
Yep. Yeah, first half, too. Yes, came out strong.
Now I think regardless of what happens, like they have to be a 1 seed, don't they?
They are right now, yeah. That dropped Tennessee back. They're coupled with their win and Tennessee's loss, yes.
So what happens if Tennessee wins the SEC tournament? Are we going to get 3 SEC teams? Because I don't know at this point.
No.
How do you say no to Auburn or Florida?
Well, Auburn, yes, but how do you Duke? Yes, you're going to. What if Houston wins the Big 12?
Yeah.
I mean, they're going to go 19-1 in league. I mean, that's I can't deny Houston.
I like the idea of these SEC teams actually saying, you know what, we're good. If we bow out early and we don't play 3 absolute grinders of a game,
great angle,
right? Then we're fine with that, right? I mean, you're probably better off this year.
Yep. Did you see the end of the Tennessee game?
After
the 4-point. Why didn't he shoot that? It was the same situation as the Alabama game.
Right.
Comes down, game winner from the parking lot, and then he called timeout with 3 seconds left.
Yeah, but I will say
they got a great look.
The play out of the timeout was as good. That's an A+ play out of the timeout.
Sure,
kid lost it going up.
It's also a wide open look for the win, though.
I know,
which he just made.
But how about the foul on the 3?
Yeah,
for the mama,
wild games, wild.
Yeah,
I know. But then again, keep an eye on this. All these teams that have needed to win have got it done, and by margin. So now it's going to be a mess for the bubble. All
right, so this has become like a tradition on the show. Every year going back now, a handful of years on Follow the Money. Matt Vasgersian has joined us around this time of year every single time. He has been awesome with some of his like Cy Young picks, guys that you need to bet before the season starts. The Corbin Burns thing at 50-1 in 2021 was as good as it gets. And even if the picks don't get there, like the analysis and what he gives you for some intel is phenomenal. Mm-hmm. So Matt Vasgersian joined the program earlier today, and we kicked around the Cy Young. Love talking to him on this program throughout the course of the Major League Baseball season. And these preseason spots are some of my favorites going back. I mean, the calls that you have had, Matt, over time with the Cy Young. You nailed both, I think it was, the year that you had Corbin Burns. I'm forgetting right now who was in the American League that year, but you came back with Sandy Alcantara in 1 year. You nailed him as well. So, and the analysis is as good as it gets. You did briefly mention that you don't like to go like one of the short guys on the board to win the Cy Young, and you threw out Blake Snell at 10-1 as a possibility. Is he your official pick, or would you consider him, and are you going to go somebody else?
I mean, he'd be my official pick if the whole board was open. But if you forced my hand and said, find somebody down deeper on the board, I'll identify another dude who's made a really significant change over the off season. And all the attention for the Pirates staff goes to Paul Skeens for obvious reasons. He's the shortest shot to win the National League Cy Young, which is amazing considering, he's a second-year guy. But for the right reasons, he's a stud. His staffmate, Jared Jones, has added a sinker to his repertoire, and apparently it's pretty good. So this is a guy who was primarily fastball slider last year in his rookie season. And that meant that right-handed hitters, you get deeper into an at-bat, you could look outside and kind of lean a little bit and cheat because he didn't throw his curveball or his changeup as much. Not only is his curveball a lot better, but he's added the sinker that'll run in on a right-handed hitter and looks the same coming out of his hand. So it's not just a show pitch. I don't think it's one of these stories where a guy makes a change in the spring and then doesn't use it once the light goes on April 1st. I think he's going to use it a lot. And so, I mean, remember the year that Barry Zito won his Cy Young Award? He was the number 3 guy in the rotation. All the love was going to Mulder and Hudson, and very quietly, Barry Zito matched up against everybody's number 3 and beat him up. So sometimes it's not a staff ace that wins a Cy Young. And Jared Jones at plus 4,500? Yes, please.
That's what we're looking for here. Okay. How about the American League then? Who did you land on in the Cy Young to win it over there?
I can't get away from Garrett Crochet. He is just different. First of all, he's a beast. He's 6'6", 250. His strikeout ratio is insane. He's pitching in Boston now, where he's going to get a lot more, certainly, press attention, as opposed to dying a slow, painful death on the south side of Chicago with a moribund White Sox team last year. He is in a perfect place to become that guy. He's arbitration eligible after this year, so the Red Sox essentially have him for 2 seasons. I just think he's going to be an animal this year. And I was a year late last year on Turek Skubal, a year early, I should say, because he was one of my picks the previous year, and he won it last year. So if I'm going to do that again this year, the guy that I was talking about with you last year at this time was Cole Reagan. I still like Cole Reagans as well. You get a better number on Reagans because Crochet is like the third or fourth shortest shot for American League Cy Young market. I like both of those guys, but if you had to force my hand with one, it's going to be Crochet. All
right. Very good. Matt Vasgersian. Blake Snell, 10-1. You can find him in that range. Jared Jones is at 175-1 at Circa.
Wow.
I bet him.
Yeah.
It's still available. So
huge difference. Good job.
That's going to be one of those things at that number. If we're talking about Jones having a super hot April and I don't have a piece of him after him talking like that, then I'm not going to be happy with myself at all.
And your thoughts on Crochet, which also he also used the get me to the window with an alias after the 10.5 is his win prop.
Yeah, I'd look at something like that maybe. The Cy Young number is just, man.
Boy, that's aggressive.
I can't. It's not even 10-1.
Yeah.
It's plus 850 might be the best you can get on him. You can find a little bit higher than 10-1 to lead the league in strikeouts. I mean, he's one of the reasons why you have to really like the Red Sox this year. Now, he did say this, though, because the first thing we talked to Matt about was a couple of super popular teams in the betting market, and that is Boston, maybe to win their division.
Could happen. Heal's out 3 months now.
Yeah, or the Reds in the National League. But he shot down the Red Sox. But he did say, because it's a totally different game once you get to the postseason.
Well, he did say playoffs.
He said bet him, and he said that would be his World Series team.
Yeah.
So he doesn't think they'll beat the Yankees over the course of 162 games to win that division, but he thinks come playoff time, forget it. So
I love the rotation and the addition of Bregman.
And what if they make...
I'm with Von Tobel with the Reds. It seems like we do this every year. They got to prove it to me. But De La Cruz recommendation, MVP, I don't hate that either.
Yeah.
When you see what the numbers could be, and he can get a ton of stolen bases as well.
You know, I was reading up on Ohtani and what the game plan was for him this year in terms of pitching. And Dave Roberts, the thought was maybe they'll bring him back around May. And he said, well, hopefully based on the timetable that we have, he can actually be back before then. But he is absolutely not going to start or pitch at all to begin the season. And as Matt said, they have a 10-man rotation. So how many innings are you going to expect out of guys like Ohtani, Sasaki coming over at his age, being a rookie, Yamamoto coming back off of an injury, Glasnow?
The other night they did Yamamoto followed by Sasaki. Came in what they did. And I think he had a ton of strikeouts when he replaced Yamamoto. So that's a fair point, too. Betting on sports, why not try the races? First Bet lets you wager on hundreds of horse races every day from top tracks across the U.S. and around the world. FirstBet.com, promo code VSiN200. Claim a 20% rebate for your first 60 days up to $200. Head to FirstBet.com today. We are now underway down the street at the Orleans, West Coast, San Diego, and Pacific.
Well, this game is vile and nasty.
Yeah. When you look,
what do they have a combined 14 wins on the year?
Yeah, San Diego only won 2 league games. The Toreros, anyways, it's high scoring. It's 18-17 in front of family and friends. The only game going on right now is get ready for the 4 o'clock slate. And 2 finals in the book at the Valley Arch Madness. 1 went over, 1 stayed under, so your trend now, totals of 131 or higher the last 10 years, 65% underrun. The Illinois-Chicago game fits the bill. The late game at 6:30 Pacific.
All right, very good. We're going to have so many games out here in Las Vegas. It starts today, basically, with these games. But then next week, forget it, with how many games will be on hand. And if you're out here for championship week, which we encourage you to do, it's amazing. You can actually go and attend one of these games as well. It's terrific. Adam Burke from VSiN.com on the program coming up next. He loves digging in the dirt with some of these teams. We'll find out some of his best bets tonight in college basketball coming up next on VSiN.